For those who are born with the Rabbit Zodiac, well, year 2026 is the year of breakthrough. Well, basically, breakthrough maybe sounds uncomfortable, but basically, this is the year of upgrade and also remodeling. So therefore, this is the time where the Rabbit Zodiac need to pay a little bit more attention to focus on how to activate the auspicious star and also the inauspicious star. So let's get started with the inauspicious star. So for the Rabbit Zodiac, apparently this year you are being struck with one of the powerful stars known as the Duke Disrupt. Well, the Disrupt basically means it's a star of disruptions. It's a star that required you to remodeling because there are certain old habits that no longer work, especially if you have been doing the same thing, using the same method, doing the same flow. Apparently, you are still producing the same outcomes, right? So therefore, when the year of remodeling comes, it's time for you to redesign and figure out what is the bad habit that keeps you repeating the same old results. For example, maybe there are certain bad routines, weak boundaries, unclear positions, or perhaps some lazy decision making that basically lead you to overly trust other people and expect them to be fully accountable. So perhaps those are the habits that you may need to reconsider to improve something, new habit that you need to install to override the old one. So if you wanted to increase or create new outcome, well, this star will help you to basically to help you to overcome all this limited belief. It's time for you to remodel your thoughts and also reprogramming your mindset. But nevertheless, later on we'll talk about the auspicious star, how you can do that. Yeah. So next one is the drips. The drips basically is the star of bereavement or a star of sorrow energy. It may signify that there are possibility of losing someone you love and the necessity for you to carry on responsibility like funeral, family matters. Basically, you are weighing down yourself by all this emotional distraught. And in case if this happen, well, don't numb yourself over it and don't try to rush over it because this process is actually remind you the meaning of life. So when it comes to all this emotional issue, like when you're seeing someone that you love are struggling on the bed, for example, perhaps it's time to remind you yourself, are you actually spending sufficient time to appreciate the moment of life? So therefore, this star just remind you to cherish the meaning of life. Next one is the curved tongue. This is a star of mouth trouble because there are risks of misunderstanding, gossip, and arguments. So therefore, this part could trigger a lot of miscommunications. Maybe you are too eager to talk about your ego talk. Maybe you are too defensive due to what you believe. So therefore, this style may heighten up the risk into argumentative. And worst part, this may accidentally activate the next star, which is known as the crossing star. Well, the crossing star basically is a star of dispute, legal entanglement. So therefore, if you are arguing without substance, well, there are tendency for you to getting lawsuit, you are being sued by other people because you are just merely bluffing. So therefore, this star remind you to, whenever you are arguing something, you're fighting for a certain points, well, make sure you have a clear evidence or proof to support your voice. Otherwise, it may trigger you to begin getting stuck with all this legal entanglement, and it may eventually draw you some setbacks, delays, which eventually may cause you to failure to deliver your value to your audience, right? So therefore, this star just remind you to, very simple, choose proof over ego because certainty always beat the conflict. Okay. Next one is the star of the buff and also the salty pool. Well, when the both of them comes together, it's basically a combination of temptations and seductions because it basically means that you are more seductive, magnetized, you are more attractive to a lot of people. So this is actually have pros and cons. Nowadays, a lot of all these entertainers, filmmakers, actors, KOL, influencers, people who wanted to use their charm, their sensuality, maybe they wanted to use their magnetic energy to attract more audience. So basically, this is a star that commands and increase or basically to attract people with attention. So this is highly auspicious and suitable for those who are doing marketing, performance, KOLs, influencers, because you can attract, you can persuade, and you can influence people through your charm. But bear in mind, because there are risks comes together with this, because if you set no clear boundary, well, it will eventually draw you stuck in certain emotional drama, love triangles, and worst part, it may trigger a lot of unnecessary arguments, which is mentioned as before. Okay, so therefore, those are the negative star that the Rabbit Zodiac need to pay attention. Despite all these negative inauspicious star, however, there are still a lot of auspicious star which is shining on you. So therefore, let us get started with one by one. The first one is the fortune virtue. This is the powerful blessing through your character and your traits, because when you are very calm, steady, you know how to set clear boundary, and yourself, especially if you know how to carry your self-composure kind of characteristic, you are calm, you're steady, eventually your aura will be feel and influence your surrounding, the people around you. If you know how to set the clear boundary, well, people will no longer easily interfere into your own energy, or perhaps into your own private space. So therefore, this style requires you to act compassionate, your kindness, be authentic, be genuine, and you don't need to overdo things, because when you are sincere to solve and address concern, eventually this style will help you to dissipate and basically to break down all these negative vibes. And next is the heavenly virtue. Well, this is a star of protections, and also it have the ability to help you to pacify any dramatic issue. So therefore, when there are crises or problem appear, well, this star will able to help you to reduce the damage, and most of all, you will somehow able to think in a more clearer perspective. You no longer try to reply for the sake of reacting. So therefore, this style will brings you calm demeanor, and you will be able to pacify the room, because this year apparently, when you're blessed together with both of fortune virtue and heavenly virtue, somehow your aura, your energy are more stable. Your aura will somehow able to make the environment to be more conducive, more calm and peaceful. So therefore, in case you have accidentally activated the cold tongue, or you're basically drawn into one, well, apparently both of these virtue styles will able to help you to cool down and lower down the temperatures. Your vibes, your energy, your presence, somehow, especially when you are very fair, when you are very sincere to help people to pacify and to understand their intentions, what kind of argument point that they are trying to protect or defend, somehow your presence will able to make people feel safe, and both parties willing to voice down their concern, and they no longer try to attack each other. They will start to explain their needs. So therefore, this year, your script in conflict is very simple. Help me to understand what you need. Here is what I need, and let us agree on the solutions that both sides are being heard and being understood, and we can come into a proper solutions, or come into a proper term. Okay, that's how you can pacify it. And next one, of course, is the crossing shard. Well, the crossing shard is slightly different because this is a style of entanglement where it could brings you the risk of lawsuit, delays, setback, people just try to sabotage you. Well, however, apparently this year, the solution is not related to emotion. The solution is all about process. Fortune virtue will keep your energy clean, and you don't acting out of anger. You don't try to hide things away. You don't try to do things behind the scene. However, this year, when the heavenly virtue comes in to support you, somehow you find yourself able to carry out the emotions, the conversations in a calm demeanor. So therefore, this is where the mindset shift comes in. You have to understand that you can actually also help both parties to understand that legal are protections. They are not punishment. It exists to keep everyone responsible for themselves and to prevent any emotions or egoistic act which may cause uncontrollable damage. So therefore, when crossing shard appears, you don't fight to destroy. You don't try to arbitrate your way to move around with it. You are actually negotiate to protect. You help people to clarify the scope and also the responsibility. So therefore, this year, your energy will able to pacify communications, so both parties understand their needs and understand why certain legal entanglement comes along. It's basically because they don't understand and they are not willing to appreciate the presence of defending. So therefore, somehow this year will help you to pacify and remove all these obstacles. So therefore, this is a auspicious combinations that help you to dissipate most of the negative entanglement. And next one is the prosperity star. This is the wealth star which governs good income, financial stability, and it support career success and also material comfort. So therefore, this star will reward people who are working their way out, they are building consistency. So therefore, this star is most favorable for those who have built established system, stable clients, stable service. So therefore, if you are able to build a proper system to support your clients, build a proper stable system, and also business processes to stable down your operations, the more you are able to help people to stable down their concern, eventually this star will reward you powerfully. So therefore, this star is more related to your ability to build stability, and you will attract prosperity. And plus, this star love to reward others as well. So therefore, if you have staff, you are taking care of your other service provider, well, perhaps it's time for you to reward and treat those who have helped you in your journey, because the more you celebrate your prosperity, well, the more abundance and prosper how you can grow your wealth and your financial pursuit. And next one, you have the Taiji nobleman. This is one of the unconventional teacher ability or opportunity to learn some unconventional knowledge such as human philosophical, human psychology, how the entire world works, or perhaps studying metaphysics, tarot card reading, all this unconventional art. So this star will heighten up your ability to understand complexity of human and the law of nature as well. So therefore, if you're pursuing all this unconventional study, well, apparently this star will heighten up your wisdom ability to understand the complex of humanity. And of course, if you're pursuing higher level to understand human psychology, well, this star will also deepen your ability to understand how humans think, how they react, why people have all this anxiety, and eventually it's going to be sort of like a mirror to help you to reflect, to help you to understand why you could be so anxiety, so cautious, and easily stuck in all this risky endeavor that trap you eventually. So therefore, this star will further upgrade your mindset, your mentality, to help you to navigate the year of 2026. After all, the best protection in life is wisdom. When you have the deep understanding, the less you get entangled, and of course, the clearer you know how to navigate your life. Okay. And next one is the star of the peach blossom. Well, this is not just a star of romance. This is a star of likability. Somehow people find you are more likable and you're more attractive. And when you're being more attractive, people will somehow easy to forgive you faster, because they give you a little bit of credit, they give you a little bit of favor, because somehow your presence, your energy are so likable by the vibes. So therefore, this star will heighten up your ability to soften down your conflict, soften down your negotiations, and of course, you can also reduce entanglement before it turns into a lawsuit. So therefore, know how to use this peach blossom star will heighten up your sense of likability. And this year, smile more, be more warmer, and be diplomatic, and eventually people will respect your energy because you are persistent and consistent in your stable aura. Okay, next one is the sky happiness. This is a star of romance, celebrations, and joyfulness. Of course, when we talk about relationship, well, this is one of the stars that brings you opportunity to celebrate auspicious events such as wedding, getting started into the dating scene again. So therefore, this is star of joyful celebrations. If you are planning to pacify or mitigate any, mending any relationship, especially maybe during the old days, your family have certain misunderstandings. Some people just don't like each other. But somehow, when you are able to organize all these family gatherings, wedding anniversary, or any good celebrations or family rituals, well, it will elevate everyone to be more happy. They are more contributive, they are less judgment, they are less defensive, and everyone are focusing on celebrating the meaning of life. So remember, joy can mend relationship, and joy can repair what pride refused to fix. So therefore, this star can help you transform all this negativity, and including the star of the drips, because as I already mentioned, the drip star brings you the theme of losses. Maybe it's time for you to celebrate the meaning of life, because after all, everyone deserves a good happy ending in their life, right? So in case if you discover your family members or your friends, someone who are in the basically either they are in the nearing the end of their journey, perhaps it's time for you to help them to celebrate and make their life, their contributions matters, and they have a successful or happier ending in their life. So this star can turn sad negative events to a joyful auspicious ending. Okay, so overall those are the auspicious stars where the rabbit zodiac will be able to use it to pacify and diminish all this negative entanglement. And next, let's talk about where the rabbit zodiac appear in your Chinese astrology chart known as Bazi, the 4 pillar of destiny. I have uploaded a free video to teach you how you too can read your own chart and find out which zodiac influence different aspects of your life. So let us get started. For those who are born in the year of the rabbit zodiac, well, first of all, the rabbit zodiac in your year pillar governs your social external connections, and this year apparently is going to be more noisy because due to the curved tongue, the crossing shaft, a lot of people may easily offend each other. So therefore this year you need to know how to maintain your cool. You need to bring your self-control, your self-composure, because this year apparently when you are more likable, people hold you quite high, and somehow your energy will be able to pacify all these arguments, your ability to ask proper questions, to lead people, to create a space they are more able to communicate properly. And do pay attention, because this is the year that you are experiencing the disruption. Disruption call for remodeling. So perhaps it's time for you to evaluate which group of friends who are keep draining your energy. Perhaps you can change the way you interact with them, or perhaps you can spend more time with those who are elevating each other and value the value of each other. So perhaps it's time for you to audit people who actually help you to become better, or those who are keep pulling you down and dragging you into problem, so you can be strategically on how to address this concern. Okay, next is the month pillar. Well, the month pillar governs your career, your business. Basically, it's more related to what you do in terms of your career, in terms of your professional identity. Okay, so therefore, having a lot of auspicious stars, apparently, this is where you will be able to help the company, your business model, to pacify and reduce all this negative impact. So you can turn all this argument, misunderstanding, help them to rewire, help them to create environment which is more conducive to communicate. So especially for career professionals, well, apparently the Duke destruction may bring certain amount of restructuring, such as new KPI, new bosses, new role, new expectations. There are basically a lot of communications or argument. People are fighting for certain purpose or certain intent. So therefore this is the year where you need to become the pacifier, help people to understand how to hold the communications in case people wanted to restructure or change certain model or restructure certain aspect of the company. You need to stable down their energy, because apparently without clear understanding, without clear communications, people couldn't find terms and couldn't resolve it in the most harmonious way. So therefore, eventually, if you don't help their entire communications, well, eventually it will lead to a lot of unexpected kind of change. So therefore, this year, you need to be strategic in more about pacify people's emotion. Okay, for business owners, apparently you have a lot of restructuring that you need to pay attention, because apparently the Duke demands you need to restructure in terms of your business model, better system, better pricing, or perhaps a better terms or boundaries to help you to protect yourself. And with the cold tongue and crossing sharp, it will denote the needs for you to review all this agreement, legal compliancy, make sure you have delivered all the necessities. So everything within the scope or terms has to be very clear. And plus, everything's have a proper payment timing as well. So this year, because you have the prosperity star, apparently you do need to strengthen and basically to consolidate your payment terms, because apparently in case of people who have been in debt with you, have yet to clear out their credit or their payment term, somehow your likability with the bath, salty pool, and also the peach blossom will intensify your likability, and your likability may help you to smoothen out your negotiations, or perhaps your energy will able to make them feel they need to pay you because you have a lot of needs to fulfill. So therefore, this is a good year for you to use your charm, your likability in terms of your business, or as well as you're being a career professionals as well. So therefore, you have a lot of extra advantage when it comes to professional endeavor. And next is the day pillar. Well, the day pillar governs your personal identity and also your personal relationship. So it could represent your spouse palace as well. So therefore, this year you have the peach blossom, the salty pool. You also have the sky happiness. So therefore, for the singles, you can take this opportunity to disrupt how you carry yourself. Perhaps this is the time for you to reconsider, to go back into the dating scene again. It's time for you to look for someone you can, spend the rest of the time together with. So therefore, for the singles, this year heighten up your opportunity to meet someone who you can develop for the long term. And for those who are already attached, already in a relationship, well, this may spell marriage. So therefore, you may consider to seal the deal, to tie the knots, to get married. And for those who are already married, well, the good news is apparently you may have opportunity to conceive babies. So therefore, there will be a lot of joyful celebrations, perhaps celebrating your annual anniversary, your wedding anniversary. So therefore, this is a great year for you to celebrate joyfulness in your family and your personal relationship. And last is the hour pillar. Well, the hour pillar governs your mindset, your investment, your children, your staff. Basically, it governs the most deepest part of your life. Okay, so let's talk about children. And apparently for the parents, this year brings you joyful celebrations with your children. And for staff, perhaps it's time for you to, being the team leader, you may need to change the way you communicate with your staff. Perhaps it's time for you to build a meaningful, strong bonding within your students, your staff, people who under your care. Change the way you act, change the way you communicate, because you have the ability to elevate their status and also their ability to carry on your legacy. And when it comes to investment, apparently this is not the year for you to take risks, because there are a lot of temptations, a lot of shortcuts that keep coming to you. But however, because the prosperity star, as I already mentioned, it supports stable or stability. So if you try to take shortcuts, well, apparently it's not that conducive, it's not that supportive. Instead, if you do your proper research, if you're focused more on long-term investment, well, eventually the prosperity star will reward you quite well. So therefore, for those who are born with the Rabbit Zodiac, there's a lot of auspicious energy supporting you. So next, let us move to strategic allies and also the best timing. So first of all, the Rabbit Zodiac, you need to know that the Dog Zodiac is your best friend, and the Dog Zodiac forms the tree harmony with the Grandeur, and also the Dog harmony somehow able to assist you and pacify all these angry temperamental issue or conflicts. So because the Dog Zodiac also have a lot of powerful stuff which can also assist you in case of certain entanglement that beyond your ability to pacify, apparently the Dog Zodiac able to introduce powerful or influential figures to help you to solve the issue. And also you form the tree harmony with the Pig Zodiac. Well, the Pig Zodiac will gain bigger momentum this year. Apparently, if you are learning spiritual, gaining wisdom, or studying anything related to religious, apparently the Pig Zodiac will be able to show you the way. And also you form the tree harmony with the Goat Zodiac, and this year the Goat Zodiac forms the strongest combinations with the Grandeur, the Horse Zodiac. And plus this year they are blessed with powerful, helpful noblemen known as the Sun Nobleman. So therefore this year, all your three harmonic combinations brings you a lot of positive vibes to help you to overcome negativity, and of course it will subsequently transform you to become a wiser and well-wisdom, someone who understands the rules of human psychology and knowing how to build a meaningful conversations and communication. And do pay attention over the month of July, October and November, because these are the good months for you to accelerate your growth. You have a lot of opportunity to build meaningful connections. Look for the right help, and do pay attention over the month of April, June, September and December, because they are bound to have all this clash, discomfort, misunderstanding, and therefore those may heighten up a lot of risk. And in case if you wanted to learn more about Chinese astrology, well, do join our annual Chinese astrology event co-organized together with my partner Pauline Chang and also Charmaine Ho, where this is the workshop where we combine various art of Chinese astrology to help you in crafting your battle plan for the year 2026. So that's all for the Rabbit Zodiac. Remember, 2026 is not here to break you, it's help you to rebuild you yourself. So if you resist the lesson, well, this year may feel like chaos, but if you take responsibility for your transformations, your habit, your words, your agreement, your boundaries, somehow you will experience the major breakthrough, help you to consolidate who you aspire you to become. So here's my final question. What must end? What is the next level that can begin? What are the change, the shift that you need in order to become the most ideal version of you? So therefore, Rabbit Zodiac, you need to start to think and review what are the old habits that you need to get a little patch to override and reprogram. And please, for those who have the Rabbit Zodiac, please comment in the below where is the Rabbit Zodiac appear in your chart, either in your year, month, day, or even your hour pillar. So let us discuss and see how we can design the change to help you in transforming. So if you love this video and you find this video has helped you, please do like and subscribe to my channel and share it with those who have the Rabbit Zodiac who wanted to remodel their transformations, because 2026 rewards the rabbit who choose clarity over comfort. So that's all from me, Jonathan Lee from Renergy. I'm wishing you a prosperous, happy Chinese New Year. 恭喜發財!